Hello, my name is Andrzej Kowalcyk, and today I will tell you about application modernization and related to this task automation. So, how to speed up the whole process, how to automate it. So, this is quite hot topic right now, but just a short introduction. You see towers, you see buildings, you see skyscrapers on this photo. But what is important? People, architects that are designing, that are architecting buildings, they are facing similar problems like IT architects, like IT managers. Why? Because there is a question: should we keep current buildings and modernize it, or should we start from scratch to create not just the buildings but the whole neighborhoods? Right? So because typically there are not enough flats, there are not enough apartments. So there is a question, and the similar question is for IT architects. Should we maintain our system, or should we follow new trends, new innovations? So this is a typical question, and of course we should focus on innovations. Why? Because if we compare people, young people, they are waiting for new features, for modern application with specific look and feel, with some uh, digitalization approach. So digital approach. This digitalization is right now the common concept, and this concept of not appeared but increase the demand for digitalization increased because of pandemic situation. So this is a very important thing, and also this is traditional dilemma, right? CIOs and IT organization should resolve it: maintaining versus innovating. Of course, you cannot forget about old applications because you cannot rebuild it in very fast way. So you should think how to mitigate these two tracks. Of course, transform, agile, and modern and responsive organization. So they are doing transformation. They are doing digital transformation. Why? Why? Because of next generation architecture. This is of course just one another buzzword, but next generation architecture typically it's the cloud. So it means you need to address these things because you don't know where in the future your application will be deployed. Very important thing, right? Agile processes. As you see, it's a circle. This is not a waterfall. So it means new things are coming. Continuous integration, continuous delivery, agile integration, right? And also collaborative culture. So it means people are collaborating. I'm representing open source company, and collaboration is the part of our culture because we are inclusive company and we want to exchange our ideas, our concepts, and also we want to have an influence, impact on the organizations. And what is also important in IT, new patterns are coming. Why? Because I said the cloud is the future or next generation architecture. When you are thinking about cloud, new infrastructure for us, you need to think also about containers. This is important because containers are portable. So it means portability. It's a very important thing. Once created application can be deployed everywhere. So the traditional infrastructure will be changed to hybrid cloud. Hybrid means on-prem, public cloud, private cloud. So you can choose which platform to use for your application, because applications are typically right now are microservice oriented. So it means focused mostly on scalability and the simplified deployment and simplified packaging, and because our microservices so independent, deployed in a container, you should communicate with them somehow. So this is the place where APIs are in place. So you can use APIs because each application must expose API to be called or to call someone. Why? Because it is distributed computing. So this is very important, and you must follow modern application development frameworks, right? It is changing slowly, but I see people, companies are starting to use these techniques, like API first, like CI/CD, like microservices. Why? Because they know that sooner or later they will use a hybrid cloud, or maybe it will be just on-prem installation, but still cloud-like experience is very important. So you should think also about these new patterns and practices. And you see this in the background there is a modern house. So like house built from blocks, right? Very agile, so you can adjust it, you can have an impact on this. So how to choose a solution to simplify, standardize and optimize application development, right? So IT architects also should use a proper tools to do this. So you should think how to adapt existing and how to develop new applications. Typically, what you should use if you are thinking about cloud, if you are thinking about a new or next generation architecture. Very light, and light again, runtimes and framework, right? This is important. In memory caching, right now I think it sounds even more important topic, because if you are running in separate clusters, how to synchronize data, how to use it, so this is important. And high performing messaging, of course, if you see high performing messaging, you could use an AMQP protocol, you can use Kafka protocol, right now almost de facto standard for microservice synchronization or async communication. And also how to integrate applications. Because some applications are running inside your organization, some of them are running in the cloud, some of them are offered as a SaaS solution. Then automate manual processes, right? Digitalization should focus on this. How to speed up her process, how to automate many manual tasks, just to avoid human mistakes, error, and to mostly speed up the processes. And Red Hat offers you application services, set of middleware that you can use it to build your applications, like Red Hat Runtimes, and not only build but also migrate. This is a very important thing. We are helping our customers not to just build a modern applications, but also to migrate to containerized traditional ones. Then Red Hat integration. You can compose integration and you can integrate application using our approach, agile approach, or right now even focused on Kubernetes. So it means integration that runs on top of Kubernetes. We are using the concept called CamelK. So this is right now becoming de facto a standard for orchestration of containers, Kubernetes. And this is the platform for the future integration. Then Red Hat Process Automation. You can use Decision Manager, you can create decision rules by business people, then you can implement it, or you can add some IT things by developers, and you can optimize and build digital processes. You're using proper tools. Today, I want to focus on runtimes. Red Hat Runtimes, it's a set of frameworks and languages and tools that will help you to create and modernize current application. Like you see, best-in-class frameworks and languages, right? So it means included JBoss, EAP, and Quarkus. I will explain it later in details about it. You can modernize and optimize some initiatives using the proper technology. So this is another part of this. You can use in-memory data grid, right? So not only for caching, but also for parallel processing, or you can use enterprise messaging. So this set of runtimes, this set of tools and frameworks helps you to modernize and start to develop cloud native application. And last but not least, SSO, single sign-on authentication. So as you see here, from runtime through some supportive mechanisms like messaging and caching, but also security. SSO, it's part of this thing. So, and you see, architects need to deploy new technologies. Why? Just to mitigate technology debt, but also to adopt cloud native application development framework, right? You hear and see cloud native. It doesn't mean that you should Azure, Amazon to create your application. It means that first you need to containerize it, and then you need to follow some principles. For example, monitoring, for example, exposing metrics or exposing probes like readiness and liveness. This is important, that this is not just a containerization, or if I will use some new programming language, it is cloud native. No, it is not. But what is the benefit of it? Portability, right? And observability also. So this is, and architects must deploy new technologies, right? This is a crucial thing. And developers need to deliver innovative applications. So this is the role, and the role of architects is to introduce modern contemporary technologies. The principle for developer is to deliver innovative applications, right? So it means they can use portable and lightweight services. Why? Because of next generation architecture. And also use modern and popular integration tools. What means popular integration tools? Like Camel, for example, one of the most popular integration framework that it's used by many organizations, and developers like open source. Why? Because they can easily try new technologies, and also developers are focusing on new technologies. So you can find some innovations right now only in open source, right? Like containers, like Kubernetes, like Istio. These terms, this project system were born in open source family. This is very important. And also collaborative tools and techniques, how to exchange data, how to use proper approach. Of course, not forget about security. When you are thinking about security at the end, this is too late, right? It's too late. You should think from the beginning, from scratch, about security. And security must be built in a solution, must be part of the framework. And what is important, in a hybrid cloud next generation architecture, when you are using microservices, it's not easy, for example, to manage identities, right? So you need to call like a DevSecOps people. You need to know how to use a proper tools, how to integrate security into your, or how to incorporate security solutions into your applications. This is important because, you know, when you are exposing your application outside of your organization, so it means your external customers are using it in a mobile application, web applications, this is important, that this is the gateway to your organization. If it's not secure, it can be very harmful. But of course, there are many options right now. Many architectures, many frameworks like Java EE, like Spring, like .NET, and this is important. What kind of technology use, where to use, right? And you see like new ideas, reactive programming, serverless. These things require light engines. This is important. Why light? Because of serverless, for example. If your application will start 20 seconds, even 5 seconds, it's too long. It's too long. Your application engine should start below a second. And distributed architecture is the new norm, right? Like, so you should have it in your mind, some service meshes like Istio. Why? Because it will help you to manage the distributed architecture. It will help you to secure it. So this is important, what you will choose, right? And how you will end up. So flexibility. Flexibility is one of the most important things. So it means portability, right? How easy I can deploy my application on the cloud, on-prem. So it means using OpenShift, you have it portability because you can deploy it on bare metal, you can deploy it on hypervisor, you can deploy it on private or public cloud. This is important, right? And how to simplify application development, how to focus just on business aspects of application and forget about security, not forget completely, but to integrate security solution with my application or delegate it to the security people. How to increase efficiency with innovation. So how to incorporate new technologies. And of course, if you will use proper technologies, you will deliver application faster. So time to market will be decreased. This is an important thing. And together with Red Hat and OpenShift, you can do this. So, for example, what self-service provisioning? Usually I forget even about this feature because for me it's too obvious. So it means OpenShift delivers or is capable to give you cloud-like experience. As a developer, you can go to the web console, to OpenShift, and create your project, which is isolated, and you have access to set of middleware tools, frameworks. So it means you can start to develop projects, consistent environments, right? This is a very important thing. You are using isolated environment, consistent, and you can automate many things. So you will not focus how to create my container, how to compile my source code for cloud native application. It can be automated and you can delegate this task to the platform. Then CI/CD, continuous integration, continuous deliver, also part of the platform. This is a crucial that you can forget about some part of that. Of course, you need to implement it, but you don't need to think about which tool to use for CI and which tool to use for CD. When you are using OpenShift, it has everything inside. It has everything integrated. So you don't need to choose, you don't need to take another decision, right? It simplifies the whole process. So then configuration management. CI/CD also, it's very important, but if you will change something by mistake, for example, how to revert to previous version, how to, for example, resolve the problem. We have it, for example, GitOps. GitOps, so it means Git is source of truth, and it is using some synchronization mechanism to compare what you have in your current installation and what is inside the Git, inside the source of truth, single source of truth, right? Very important thing. Application, apps, logs, and metrics. So consistent view on application logs and consistent view on metrics. And you see some customers, they are using it. We have also customers in our region. They are using our middleware, they are using our OpenShift. So Red Hat Runtimes, this is a set of tools that will help you to modernize your architecture. What you can find it? You can find like JBoss EAP, if you are Java developer, if you are JEE developer, right? Data Grid, Red Hat Data Grid. So based on open source, InfiniSpan solution helps you synchronize data. We are using this, for example, for Red Hat Single Sign-On as a backend system if you deploy your application or identity management system in two locations, in DC and DR. So it resolves the problem of data synchronization, right? Because you have one data center and a remote or distant data server. It is really helpful. And also, if you are running applications on two different Kubernetes clusters, you can use Data Grid for this. Openjdk, you know that if you are using Oracle JDK on the production, you will pay a license, right? With Openjdk, there is an alternative. Red Hat AMQ, standard-based enterprise messaging, JMS, AMQP, MQTT, Storm protocol. And also, we have Red Hat SSO, modern SSO, that customers, banks, utilities, and other and public organizations are using for a modern application. It is using Openid Connect protocol, very good for API management for machine because you will not insert password and login every single time, but you will obtain a token and you will use a digital token like electronic badge, right? Like you are entering company, you are presenting a badge, that it works in the same way. But I'm talking about technologies. Of course, to speed up the whole process, you can use migration toolkit. This tool helps you to migrate application. But you see, set of languages. You can find Spring, Apache Tomcat, Quarkus, very light engine for Java, for reactive systems Vertex, and for Tomcat simplicity, JBoss Web Server. So JBoss Enterprise Application Platform, very good product for JEE applications, integrated with AMQ, integrated with Red Hat SSO, very modularized, so you can decide which modules to use, right? So you can create a very light, very compacted version. And this is important. Then you can use also microprofile, right? Extension pack for this. You can use it for cloud and containers. And still we see huge demand for this product. Openjdk, free and open source implementation, right? So you don't want to use Oracle JDK, you can use open source alternative. If you have RHEL, you have a support for Openjdk. If you have a Runtimes, you can run Red Hat middleware on Openjdk on Windows. Long lifecycle support, right? So, and if you are not sure that your application, which is using currently Oracle JDK, will it work on this system, you can use migration toolkit. You can point your source code of your application, and migration toolkit for application will tell you, okay, you can use it with Openjdk, it will work. Or it will say, okay, these things you need to change because are not supported. Then Quarkus, very light, very fast engine for Java. So you can use it for a new Java applications, cloud native application. So startup time is below a second millisecond. You can compile it to native code, right? It works in a development mode. Very many developers like it because when you change something, Quarkus reloads it automatically, but you will not see differences, right? You can test it new features. Very good for serverless because of startup and because it is using very small amount of resources like memory or CPU. So, and you can use also some techniques like Spring APIs and Hibernate integrated with Red Hat SSO, with Openjdk Connect, integrated with Kafka, so you can easily use it, deploy very light application. This is part of the OpenShift, but also you can create and you can run it on pure system, on operating system, so you can compile to native code. And 2 weeks ago, I had a workshop, a Quarkus workshop for one of our customer, and they were really surprised about easiness of usage, right? How easy is to start with Quarkus, and because it's Java, it is a standard, right, for programming, so you can easily use it. Data grid, right? Very good. It is dedicated for Java developers, but not only. It has REST API, so you can create a distributed cache mechanism. I have a customer, a big bank, that they are using data grid because it is very fast instead of messaging. Yeah, the very good in performance. You can synchronize data, or you can bring database closer, because it can work as a cache between your application and database. So you can delegate, for example, writes, right? So all data will be written by data grid, and you can keep the cache. If you have 2-3 servers, then you don't need to worry about persistency. So some customers are using it. As I said, you can use it for data synchronization between 2 data centers or between 2 Kubernetes cluster. Very good solution. Red Hat AMQ, so standard enterprise messaging based on many supports many protocols, right? Reliable, dedicated for HA solution with replication, data replication, or with shared storage. You can easily replace RabbitMQ with this if you want in your cloud native organization. Useful in IoT, for example, in MQTT when you are using MQTT protocol. This is very nice tool. Scalable, clusterable, so quite good. And this is one of the most important tool right now, Red Hat SSO. Why? Because it's a modern identity management based on Openjdk Connect. But if you are using still quite old SAML, you can easily integrate it. Fully customizable. You can use your local languages. You can customize self-registration. You can connect, because it can act as a broker. You can delegate authentication to Facebook or to LinkedIn. It is pre-integrated with it. You can just choose the proper identity or social portal for identity management. Also, if you want to use in modern application, but still you have a user stored in LDAP or Active Directory, it can act as a broker, right? And as you see, integrated with data grid for cross data center security and replication and data replication. Many our customers that they are choosing Runtimes just because of this system. And we do not limit number of calls, number of users. So you can use it as it is. And to simplify migration, to simplify containerization, to validate your OpenJDK, you can use migration toolkit for application. So it will show you how hard it is, and so it is just, some like a graph, hard to migrate, easy to migrate, hard to containerize or easy to containerize, but also it will point you to the specific line of code because you are validating source code, right? And by the way, written in our GPS services, because our professional services, they are delivering, migrations. So it really speeds up the whole process, right? Very important. So again, flexibility. You can choose a peak runtime and use it. Very productive, right? So you can focus on innovation, you can focus on business aspects of your application, and you can cut time to market using this. So this is Red Hat Runtimes plus migration toolkit. And of course, the platform is important. OpenShift, right? You can delegate, for example, microservices orchestration. You can delegate security to service mesh, which is part of the OpenShift container platform. And some numbers, right? Using the supported version, using proper runtimes, you could increase unplanned downtime. This is our statistics. You see business value of Red Hat runtimes. 3 times more new features per year, so our customers delivering new features. And application productivity. This is very important for our customers. So some recognitions and awards, like you see, gold for Quarkus. Quarkus right now it's quite popular framework and runtime for microservices for cloud native application, but also best innovation for Node.js, part of it. So this is all from my side. Thank you very much I had a chance to present you our solution. Thank you, company. Thank you, bye.